Hi everyone, I'm Meryem. Welcome to Fluid Soma. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's class, we're going to explore some of the developmental patterns that we go through as babies, in utero, but also outside of the uterus when we're born and we grow as babies, and then we become toddlers and we continue to grow and become adults. So we're going to explore some of these patterns, and practicing them as an adult can have great benefits for our life, and it's really good practice for the body to do movements that are maybe outside of our comfort zone, things that we're not used to doing as adults anymore. So that will be the class for today. So join me, we'll be on the mat. That's all we'll need, no props. All right, so we're gonna come to the mat, and we're gonna come to the front of the mat, and we're gonna start with our feet parallel-ish to each other, standing with our feet planted down on the floor. And we're gonna have a slight bend in our knees, just so that we don't lock our knees. And we're gonna start with a check-in, with a standing awareness. So if you've done my classes, you're used to it. We're gonna close the eyes and take a moment to see how we're doing. So we're breathing through the nose, and we'll try to let our breath be really natural, easy, and we're just noticing in our body what it's like. If there's tension in some parts of our body, how our weight is distributed, just noticing our way of being right now in our body, but also noticing our energy levels, noticing how we are emotionally, psychologically. Really just like a check-in. And it'll be a base kind of to know where we're at, and it can be useful later at the end of the class to compare to see how things changed. But we're just noticing, observing, and whatever is there, we just let it be, and we don't focus too hard on it. Great, and then you can open your eyes. And we're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring the arms back to the sides. Twice more, the same thing. Inhaling to lift the arms. Exhaling, releasing the arms. One last time. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Now here we're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and we're going to start to bend the right knee and the right arm. And then we're going to straighten those, and we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to bend the left knee and the left arm and straighten them. And again to the right and to the left. It might be very different from what you're used to doing. So notice, even look down to make sure that you're actually bending the knee on the same side as your arm. Right? So I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. So here I'm bending my left side, and now I'm bending my right side. Yeah. So it's a movement that's homolateral. Great. And it's just to kind of wake up a bit that pattern in the body. Yeah, just making sure I'm still doing the same side. Great. Okay. And I'm going to turn again just for the sake of the camera. And then from here, let's reach the arms up towards the ceiling And then you're going to bring your hands and bring them to your forehead, and you're going to start to stroke your forehead, gentle strokes, or like a caress. And you're going to start to caress also your jaw, your cheeks, your chin, your throat. And you're going to fold down, bending the knees really a lot, stroking the front of your body to come into this flexion here in the front. And then from here, let's take the right hand and put it to the right heel, and the left hand is going to come to the top of the head, and we're going to stroke now the back of our body from the head down and from the feet up. And we're going to come into an extension, so we're going to reach with our head forward to come up to standing. And we'll do that one more time. So stroking the forehead, gentle caress, to come into this flexion. So the flexor tone is engaging, is activating. So we're really coming into kind of like a ball, rounding everything, bending the knees, bending at the hips, everything curls up. And now we go to the extension. So with the left hand now to the heel and the right hand to the arm, to the head, go stroke the back of the body. Really feel like you're reaching, extending the back of your body to bring yourself up to stand. And this time, let's reach the arms to the sides and really feel the back of our body. So the back of the arms, the back of the legs, activating to take the gaze up towards the ceiling, just like in a regular sun salutation in a yoga class. And then let's bring the hands together in a prayer position through the midline, this front here, this coming into more now into flexion to fold forward, just like in a regular sun salutation in a yoga class. Great. And from here, let's plant the hands down to the floor and step the feet back to a downward dog. So that was, a different way of going about doing a sun salutation to give you this new pathways in a way happening, this new awareness with some of these patterns that happen when we are still in the womb, this physiological flexion and physiological extension, which also happens when we're born. Great. Lots of fun things to find out and learn together and practice together. So here I'm bending my knees one at a time. I'm also allowing my hips to move a little bit from side to side in my downward dog. Great. And from here, let's look forward. I'm going to bend the knees and bring the knees down to the floor. Good. Let's come to a tabletop position. I'm just going to readjust my clothes a little bit. So find your regular tabletop. So hands down on the mat, knees on the mat, about, the distance of your shoulders, and here about the distance of your knees. And we're going to start to play with shifting our weight. So shifting the weight from one hand to the other, feeling that happen. And then also shifting the weight from one foot to the other, feeling that happen, and also through the knees. And always keeping this whole movement very soft and fluid. So keeping the joints nice and buoyant, pliable. So never creating super hard lines, keeping everything nice and fluid. Great. And once you've done that for a bit, we're going to start to go forward and back. So now we're going to shift the weight between the hands and feet, but in pairs. So the pairs of the hands and then the pairs of the feet. So I'm shifting, pushing through my hands, and now I'm pushing through my feet. So my toes are tucked under to help feel that a little bit more. So now I'm pushing through my hands and pushing through my feet. It can be nice and slow like this, or it can also be a little bit faster if you just work with the hands for a little bit. So I'm just pushing with my hands, right? This is one way. And then just pushing with my feet. This is another way. So kind of playing with these shifts of weight between the hands and the feet. Yeah. Fast or slow. Where it's more homologous. And when you're ready, you're going to stop that exploration and you're going to open your knees wide, bring the big toes together. Let's point the feet, and now we're going to push with the hands to come to a child's pose. Great. And let's rest the forehead down on the floor. And let's take a moment to breathe and rest. You may find that some patterns come really naturally to you, and others really just, the coordination is not there, or it just feels off or weird or strange, or it just doesn't feel natural or organic in a way in your body. And that is totally fine, and it's great, and that's why we explore and play with them. And the more that we practice them, the more that we can open up new pathways so that we learn more and, be able to help ourselves. And it's nice also to notice what comes up when you practice all these patterns, not in your body only, but also on an emotional level or psychological level. That's also something that can be quite interesting for you to, just notice and observe, to take note of, without judgment, without evaluation. Good. And then we're going to start to move the hands towards the right side, and they'll come off our mat. So we're coming into a lateral flexion or a curve, like a C, if you want. Breathing, stretching the left side of our body. And then we'll come to the center, and we'll go to the other side. So now moving the hands to the left, finding that nice stretch in the right side, and at the same time finding that nice C curve, side curve, lateral flexion in our body towards the left. Great, and then we come back to the center. And then let's push with the feet to come back to our tabletop position. So bring your knees back to being more parallel to each other. Tuck your toes under. And now here, let's go back to the shifting of the weight, but from right to left. So we're going with shifting the weight towards the right hand and the right knee, and then shifting the weight towards the left hand and the left knee. So let's play with that a little bit. Just feeling that. Keeping the elbow nice and soft, easy. Just to show you. Great. And now let's move to the right, and we're going to extend the left leg and extend the left arm, and maybe float the left arm off the mat, and maybe the left arm also is going to come off the mat. And we're going to find at the same time this curve to the side with our body. Yeah. Great. Keeping that, maybe opening a little bit. Great. Finding that extension through the back and then come back to the center, and we'll go to the other side. Just playing. If you fall, that's totally fine. Just try again or take a rest. Always, that is always an option. So we'll go to the second side. We'll shift the weight to the left hand and the left knee, and then extend the limbs on the right side. Hand comes off the mat, maybe foot comes off the mat, and then finding that curve, that side curve. Great. And maybe opening the body a little bit more in the front to really engage those extensors in the back. And then back to the center. And we'll try it one last time on both sides. So to the right, moving to the right. Before you lift, this time the foot, try to find that C curve there. And when you have that, try now to lift the back foot. Maybe you'll find that it's easier to do it this way for your balance. Good. And then we'll go to the other side. So towards the left, finding that C curve, that side bend. And then lifting the hand and the foot off the mat, off the floor. Opening. Great. And then back to the center. Super. That was fun. And then from here, let's move the hands forward, and we're going to come to lie on our belly. So we're going to bring the front of our body to be down on the floor. And we'll rest for a bit. Always taking moments of rest in between. Just like babies, they go and explore and play, and then they come back to rest and curl up. Good. Really feeling the weight of your belly and your organs resting towards the floor, towards the earth. Great. And then from here, when you're ready, you're going to start to float your hand off the mat, your feet, maybe legs, and arms and hands off the mat. But keeping it really fluid. Allow yourself to turn your gaze from side to side and move your limbs like you're swimming, or like a baby, you know, when they're moving their arms and their legs in a kind of uncoordinated fashion in a way. They're just kind of exploring. So play with that a little bit and see what that feels like. And then we'll rest. And when you rest, really make sure that you let go of any unnecessary tension. So make sure your glutes are relaxed at this point. And your jaw is soft. It doesn't mean that your glutes and jaw will always have to be relaxed, but for now, that's what we're trying to do. There's a moment for everything. And then we're going to move to a Sphinx position. So we're going to bring our elbows down on the floor and our legs are straight. And so we're supporting ourselves with our elbows, and we're going to start to look to one side, so towards the right, and then we're going to look towards the left. Looking towards the right, and you notice that my hips are kind of moving and my knee is slightly bending on the side where I'm looking. Yeah, great. side to side, and then back to the center. And now here, we're gonna come back with our chest down on the floor, and we're gonna start to exaggerate that movement or that pattern. So now we're gonna start to bend the right elbow quite a lot and bend the right knee quite a lot. And my leg is turned out, as you can see here. My toe is tucked under, and I can really feel my toe in contact with the floor. So it's like a lizard position. And this arm here is more in an extension, so it's not completely bent. It's longer than my right arm. And I'm looking towards the right. And here, I'm really feeling like I'm pushing with my foot to move me forward. And if I wasn't on a sticky mat like this, on a yoga mat, I would be able to actually push myself forward. I could try here, but it's going to be difficult to come forward. And this is what babies do a lot when they learn to crawl on their bellies. Sometimes it's called the army crawl for babies, before they even get to crawling on all fours. So we'll try it on the other side. So here I'm taking my gaze to the left. I'm bending my left elbow quite a bit, and I'm bending my left knee. My hip on the left side is externally rotated, and I'm tucking my toes under of my left foot. So I can have like a grip if you want, and I'm pushing with my foot, with my left foot on the floor to propel me forward. So it's really a pushing action. And my right side is more long, it's more elongated or in extension. So here, feeling that pushing, really playing with pushing with the foot. And then if you want to try it, try to push yourself forward completely. And you can try this many more times. This is a homolateral pattern, a push pattern. So babies practice this a lot, and feel free to practice it as much as you want. And then when you're done with it, it can be quite effortful actually and tiring. Come to a rest, and this is how we'll finish the class. So resting on our front, on our belly. And you can have your hands one on top of the other to support your forehead. Or if you prefer, you can have the arms to the sides and bring one cheek down to the floor. If you do this option, make sure that you turn your head to the other side also. I have my mic here that's not allowing me to rest properly in this position, so I'm going to bring my hands back to being one on top of the other. And we'll take a few nice breaths through the nose. So yeah, feel free to stay here as long as you need to. But we are done with the class. That was the exploration for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it will be useful for you. And take some time for yourself after to drink some water, maybe do some writing if you want. Write down some comments if you feel the need to. And I will see you next time. So have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.